So to close off our virtual symposium is Jean, whose work is currently focusing on understanding what is important to job seekers with autism to successfully enter the workforce, and they are working on adapting this functionality into an online delivery platform. So, Jean, let me toggle you, and then feel free to take it away.
My name is Jean, and I am MA student in the Department of Applied Disability Studies at Brock University, under the supervision of Dr. Priscilla Bernard-Riosa. Today, I'll be presenting on a project focused on the development and evaluation of an online employment platform for people with autism. I'll be focusing on our study methodology and preliminary phase 1 study findings. The Ready to Work project team is comprised of a group of collaborators who bring extensive clinical, research, technological, and lived experience to understand and support the needs of people with autism across the lifespan. Our team includes collaborators from the York ASD Partnership, Integrated Services for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Disorder, McMaster University, and Brock University. Existing literature indicates that vocational and employment success has been identified as a top priority for with autism, despite clear evidence indicating that people with autism are motivated to obtain employment. Rates of unemployment and underemployment for this population remain among the highest in Canada. For example, in one Canadian survey, rates of unemployment for people with autism were as high as 86% compared to 6% of those without autism. These results are particularly concerning given that when people have gainful employment, it relates to greater opportunities for social inclusion, increased financial independence, and improvement in self-esteem and overall quality of life. Research has also shown that personal as well as social factors influence success for people with autism. Personal characteristics include functional ability and independence in daily living skills. Social characteristics include completion of a high school education and access to co-op work experience. These factors have shown to relate to employment success more so than IQ. Research has shown that there are many other notable challenges and barriers to successful employment faced by job seekers with autism. The opportunities to get a job may be impacted by negative employers or workplace attitude regarding people with disabilities. Other skill-related challenges and barriers to employment access exist. For example, a job seeker's skills like creating a resume, interviewing effectively, and networking with others may have an impact on whether a job seeker is successful. It is apparent that employment supports are important for many job seekers with autism. However, relatively little is known about the helpful tools or resources that are important to job seekers with autism who are initiating the job search process. Research has suggested that online resources may be helpful in the job-seeking process. To our knowledge, few online resources are currently available for job seekers with disabilities. One such resource is from the Sierra Group. It is a general employment platform that offers job-seeking information and job readiness resources for individuals with disabilities. This platform is geared toward people with a variety of disabilities, thus it does not appear to address the idiosyncratic needs of job seekers with autism. The following platform is autism-specific and includes a variety of resources relevant to caregivers, professionals, and people with autism across the lifespan. In the area of employment, there are useful province-specific links, Canada-wide general resources, and international resources. Included among these available links is the toolkit document to support job seekers with autism. An area of opportunity is the development of a dynamic and individualized online platform emphasizing employment readiness skills for people with autism. Therefore, the primary goal of this project is to develop a dynamic and end-user informed online platform that addresses employment needs of people in the autism community. We aim to answer the following research questions. What do job seekers with autism perceive to be important to successfully enter the workforce that is amenable to an online platform? How can the information collected in question 1 be used to develop an online platform to address these needs? The Ready to Work project is comprised of 3 phases. At phase 1, focus groups are conducted to understand job-seeking tools that are deemed desirable or necessary according to people with autism, their caregivers, and professionals supporting job seekers with autism. At phase 2, an online employment platform will be developed based on the data collected in phase 1. Participants will be asked to use it and provide detailed feedback on its content and usability. The goal of Phase 3 will be to refine the platform before its final release. Currently, we are in Phase 1 of the study. 5 focus groups have been conducted with 29 participants in total. Participants included 16 professionals, 6 caregivers, and 7 self-advocates. During the sessions, participants were asked about their experience with job seeking supports, online job seeking tools or resources, and possible tools that are needed to help individuals with autism prepare for the job seeking process. The preliminary findings from our professional focus group data revolve around the following 4 themes: societal employment challenges, limitations of existing job seeking resources, transferability of support and resources, and recommendations for successful employment supports and resources. I will review each theme in detail across the next few slides. Professionals recognize that individuals with autism encounter barriers and challenges when accessing employment. These challenges may often be socially constructed. For example, the traditional job application process includes some components such as resumes and interviews as methods to evaluate individual skills and fit for the role. One participant stated that this is problematic because people with autism often do not fare well in this process, and so they get out of running before they're even considered for their skills. Despite these expectations, employers may not have the knowledge, experience, and the compassion about autism. As such, they may put people with autism into boxes in terms of what they think they're capable of, which may impact the diversity and inclusion practice in the company. Societal and company-specific attitude towards diversity and inclusion may also create tension for an applicant who is unsure about whether they should disclose their diagnosis or not. Professionals also describe that further employment difficulty may result from the structural challenges. There are a range of abilities when it comes to individuals with autism. Some job seekers with autism may require more support than others throughout the employment process. While they might need extra help, professionals working in the employment center may not be equipped with the skills or knowledge that is required to support them. Also, with the current state of the job market, there may not be many employment opportunities available, which may increase the difficulty of the job search for people from neurodiverse population. It is hard to get a job for anyone, but professionals in our sample stated it's even harder for individuals with disabilities. Beyond the societal challenges, current in-person employment programs are primarily focused on pre-employment skills, such as resume building and interviewing. Professionals in the focus group mentioned that many programs do not focus enough on the job exploration, and it can be costly. A less costly alternative would be an online employment platform, but professionals described a limitation of these formats is it's often difficult for individuals with autism to navigate. Moreover, a major concern indicated by professionals was the translation of helpful face-to-face resources to an online platform. Many professionals expressed that it would be difficult to replace the value of having a live person at a face-to-face employment program who is able to provide real-time guidance at each step of the employment process. Although several limitations were described, professionals made several recommendations to address these concerns and to develop successful employment support for this population. They recommended that the online platform should provide resources that would be free of charge, have features that could be individualized, such as a live chat to help guide the individuals through the site or a voice-to-text function, a job exploration component to broaden job seekers' knowledge of job possibilities. Additionally, the platform should include some form of training on skills needed in the employment process, such as social skills specific to a work environment. It should provide job recommendations based on a job seeker's skills and interests, include an online network that expands the resources and support sheets job seekers could access. Lastly, professionals felt it was critical for the platform to provide resources to support those who are helping the job seekers through their job search process, whether this may be a professional or a caregiver. Overall, our preliminary analysis of the professional focus group data reflect the current literature of the challenges and barriers of employment for people with autism. Participants underscored the value of having an online employment platform that targets the specific needs of this population. They stated that a successful platform would be integrated. It would provide resources for the job seeker and those who are in their network, such as caregivers and support persons. The professionals felt that ideally, the platform could be a springboard for the users to access the necessary resources and connections to developing their careers. The next step of our study include finalizing our analysis of the remaining focus group and developing and launching an online employment platform that meets the need of job seekers with autism. Thank you. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Jean. So I also want to just welcome Priscilla to the Q&A section of the presentation. So if anyone has any questions they want to relate to Jean about the project, please feel free to type those into our chat box. And I guess to get things kicked off, what is the timeline that you're expecting for the phase 3 launch of the actual platform?
I think Priscilla would have a better idea.
Sure, yeah, definitely. So as Jean had mentioned, we're currently in the first phase of the study. So we're just sort of making sense of the professionals data, and then we'll be reviewing the caregiver data and the self-advocate data. We have our software engineer lined up to get moving on the development phase. So that should be coming in, I would suspect, the next few months, just based on our analysis timeline.
Okay, great. So another question that sort of popped up on my end is, so you mentioned that there are some inherent challenges that might be occurring from switching to a completely online platform. You mentioned some ways of addressing that by having chat functions and individualizing some components of the platform to be more directly addressing user needs. Would you be soliciting, I know in your focus group you mentioned you had a few participants who were self-advocates, but would you have opportunity for broader input on some of the functionalities that you expect to launch with the platform?
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Jean.
So in phase 2, once we go through all the data and figure out the recommendations of what we can add into the platform, the self-advocates and other participants will be recruited to test it out. And during this process, we'll have a task that they can complete, and they can make further recommendations. And we'll also have technology embedded into the site to track any areas of difficulty, and we'll work together to try to amend those challenges.
Okay, great. So I'm not seeing any other questions come through the chat box. So thank you so much, Jean, for sharing this vitally important resource that you and the group are working on. It'll be exciting to hear more about that in the coming months as you gear up to eventually launch and have it be ready.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you again, everyone, for joining today. That brings us to the end of our 2020 ChildBrite Virtual Symposium. And of course, just want to extend a special thank you to all of our presenters who showcased the great work that they are doing. Now, if you weren't able to join us for any of the previous 3 sessions of the presentation, feel free to navigate to ChildBrite's YouTube channel, where we do have a playlist with all the recordings uploaded. So feel free to peruse those at your leisure. And please stay tuned in your inbox. We will be reaching out to you with a quick survey link to ask you your feedback on how you perceive the sessions to go. And of course, solicit any feedback you may have in terms of improvements that we can incorporate for any future iteration of this series. So again, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon. Bye.